Beta ji, during these three phases, we will try to understand this chapter. Okay, means if we want to know what was the Indian economy on eve of independence, means as on 15th August 2014. So before that, we have to also understand what was the situation before British rule and what is situation right now. Right, Beta ji? And
Yes.
third, which is most important, that is during British rule, what was the situation of Indian economy? And then only we can get a true picture of Indian economy on eve of independence. So firstly, we will try to understand Indian economy before British rule. What, beta? Indian economy before British rule. What was the situation of Indian economy before British rule? How we was prosperous or we was struggling for our identity, right, beta ji?
Right.
And then we will try to understand whether this what was the positive side of British rule and what was the negative side of British rule, right, beta ji? So before British rule, we have to understand few things. Indian economy was prosperous economy. What, beta?
Prosperous
Indian
economy.
economy was prosperous economy. Now there is question, if Indian economy was prosperous economy, if we are telling that we are getting that first word, that is Indian economy was prosperous economy. If Indian economy was which economy, beta?
Prosperous economy.
Prosperous economy. Then how Indian economy was prosperous economy, beta? Tell me. How it was prosperous? Because we was independent. What, beta? Indian economy was independent, self-reliant due to two major facts. First, we was totally independent. And second, we was totally dependent on our own sources. So what was our own sources, beta? And second, we
textiles
have
and
total control on our economy. So there was two factor which was identifying that Indian economy was prosperous economy. What are they? First, we was prosperous economy, and second, we was self-reliant. What do you mean by self-reliant, beta? What do you mean by self-reliant? Yes, beta.
Atmanirbhar.
Wait a minute, beta. Wait a minute. How we was prosperous economy, beta? Please tell me. So because we was independent first, and second, we was fully prosperous, self-reliant. So what do you mean by self-reliant? Please, anyone?
Self-sufficient, sir.
What do you mean by self-sufficient?
Sir, Atmanirbhar.
Oh, you are promoting Mr. Modi. Huh? We was self-reliant. Yes. So due to these two identities, Indian economy was prosperous economy. Okay. Second, what was the identity of Indian economy? So Indian economy was agrarian economy. What, beta? Which economy?
Agrarian.
So what do you mean by agrarian economy?
Totally dependent on agriculture.
Main source of livelihood of India was agriculture, right? So main source of livelihood of, yes, beta, main source of livelihood of Indian economy was
Agriculture.
Yes, was agriculture only, right, beta? So first identity of Indian economy was Indian economy was prosperous economy. Second, it was agrarian economy. And third identity, but a third identity was we was well known for handicraft industry. Which beta?
handicraft
Handy?
industry.
Yes. See, like right now, China is a big exporter of we can say of finished goods, right, beta? I'm
Sir.
right. China is big exporter of finished goods. In the same way, on that time, handicraft industry was main industry, and on that time, India was best in handicraft industry. So, what was the identity of India? India was prosperous economy because it was totally independent and it was self-reliant also. There was not need of any import of any raw material because we was producer, because we was agrarian economy. We was having very strong control on agriculture activities. And third, we was well known for handicraft industry, and this was also very strong strength of Indian economy. So due to these functions, Indian economy was very strong economy on that time. Right, Betaji?
Yes,
Right,
sir.
Ji? And we have to understand on that time, Dhaka silk, Dhakai muslin, or we can say various breed of cotton. We was known for them, right, Betaji? We was known for various things, right? So Pashmina silk, we was known for silk, we was known for cotton, we was known for handicraft industry, we were known for pottery. So we was too strong before British rule. We was too strong during before British rule. Due to what? First, there was high level of per capita income. What beta? High level of per capita income before British rule. Second, Indian economy was self-dependent economy, right, beta? Third, Indian economy was prosperous economy. What beta?
Prosperous.
Uh, economy before British rule, right? And as we was, as India was self-reliant for raw materials, so no any dependency on others, right, beta? Huh? So these was the highlight which was before British rule. Before British rule. So what happened during British rule? What happened exactly? So during British rule, Indian economy was transformed colony, into colony. We was following colonialism, right? And due to colonialism, we was suffering due to on two front. First was political and second was social relations. So we was neither capable to maintain political identity nor social relation. And due to that, during British rule, we was totally exploited by Britishers, right, beta? We was totally exploited by Britishers because politically we don't have any control, and socially we was not very strong. So Britishers had not only dominated us, but also they had exploited us from physically, economically, or on humanitarian ground. So due to that, during British rule, these consequences we felt. First is low level of what beta? Low level of
Per capita.
per capita income, right? Low level of per capita income. People like VKVR Rao, RC Desai, William Dickby, Dadabhai Naroji, they had tried to calculate, or they had attempted to calculate per capita income of Indian people, and they got the result that it was totally inconsistent. What beta? It was totally inconsistent. So what are the ground on which they had decided, they had made a conclusion, they had made a judgment that in India during British rule there was low level of per capita income. So first was Indian people was having inconsistent income, inconsistent income. First, there was no consistency. What beta? There was
No
no
consistency.
consistency. And due to inconsistent income, the per capita income or growth of annual growth of per capita output was only 0.5%. Right, beta? And real output per capita income was 0.5% per capita income. And national output, which we are knowing as GDP, so GDP growth rate was only 2%
Yes, sir.
or less than that. 2% or less than that. So
Yes.
these are the structure. Due to that, we can say Indian economy was having low level of per capita income, right? Now we all have to understand, if we are talking about during British rule, so there are four pillars of economy. How many pillars of economy, beta?
4.
Four pillars. Whenever right now also, if we want to know the development capacity of any country, so there are four pillars on which we are taking decisions that the economy is growing or not. So what are they? That four pillar. First one is agriculture. What beta?
Agriculture.
Because Indian economy is what? Agrarian economy. We are knowing, na? We are knowing, na? Indian economy was agrarian economy. So as Indian economy was agrarian economy, so there was four pillars. So first pillar name is agriculture.
सर
So yes beta.
सर 12th का डेट शीट आ गया.
हाँ हमने ग्रुप पे भेज भी दिया है, देखा नहीं आपने?
नहीं देखा था.
देख लीजिएगा. I had given a specific date. They are not need to go through all 4-5 chapters. So first beta agriculture. During during British rule, around 85% people. How much beta? 85% population of India was engaged in agriculture, and they all are getting their livelihood or their direct or indirect income from agriculture only. So 85% population was totally dependent, whether directly or indirectly, on agriculture. Second, as as all people was only dependent on agriculture, and whatever output was there, that was not sufficient, right beta,
Yes,
for
sir.
their hunger, right?
Hmm.
Because output was not good at all, right?
Hmm.
So due to that, we got one due to these all discussion, we are getting one conclusion. What is that? Indian agriculture development was stagnant. What beta? Indian agriculture development was stagnant. What beta? What was the position of Indian agriculture development?
Stagnant.
Hmm. What do you mean by stagnant?
So not growing or 0% growth or some growth.
No growth at all,
Okay.
right, beta? So now question was there, if Indian agriculture development was stagnant, so or in phase of a stagnancy, so what was the causes due to that Indian agriculture was in stage of stagnancy? So the first cause was zamindari. What beta? What
Zamindari.
beta? Yes. And this zamindari system was known as permanent settlement system. This zamindari system was known as
Permanent settlement system.
permanent settlement system. So due to this, it was introduced by Lord Cornwallis, and he had said that whatever person is authorized to collect the taxes on behalf of government or on behalf of British government, they have right to collection, right? And they will collect on any rate. So this was also a big challenge, and zamindars was collecting lagan at very high rate. Even there was not output, or agriculturists or farmers are paying at any cost, right? Whether food is sufficient for them or not, right? Whether they have to feed themselves or not, but they are paying a high rate of lagan, right? So first big challenge of Indian agriculture during British rule, that was zamindari, which one is known as permanent settlement system,
Permanent
introduced
settlement
by
system.
Cornwallis, right? Second one
Cornwall.
is, yes, second cause for stagnancy of Indian agriculture was commercialization of agriculture. What beta? What?
Commercialization of agriculture.
Please write. And during commercialization, the people was forced to do cash crops. What beta? Which crops?
Cash crops.
Cash crops. What are cash crops? Yes, like jute, cotton, right, beta?
Yes, sir.
In place of food grains, they was forced to produce cotton, jute, or many other things, which was cash crop, right, beta ji?
Hmm.
Hmm? Groundnut, sugar cane. These was forcefully uh, on that time. Britishers have forcefully made people to do agriculture for them, right, beta ji? Third was low level of productivity. What beta? Of productivity, as no serious steps was taken by British government to increase the output of agriculture. It was also a bad thing during British rule. Right, Bitaji? And next, scarcity of investment. There was very low investment with farmer. No any banking system was there. No any mechanism was there to give them financial aid. And this was the very bad situation on that time. And due to that, all agriculturists was suffering a lot. As we all are knowing, during sowing time and cropping time, there is huge gap in agriculture. If we are showing today, so we will get crop after 4, 5, or 6 months, right? So no one will give them to invest into cropping and all. So Indian agriculture was stagnant. There are due to 4 causes. What are they, beta? What are they? What are they? First is zamindari system, that is known as permanent settlement system. Second one is commercialization of agriculture. Like they had forced us to go for cash crops like jute, cotton, groundnuts, sugarcane. Right, Vitaji? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
And there was very low level of productivity. They haven't taken any serious step to increase productivity, right? To do something for high varieties or high breed seeds, or they not attempted to give them a good amount of or good quality of fertilizers. And due to that, there was very low level of productivity. They was collecting high rate of lagan, right, Bitaji? Huh?
Yes.
They was collecting high rate of lagan, but they was not doing any serious action to increase their productivity. And last one is scarcity of investment. There was no any financial help for them, right? Only zamindars are going at the time of yielding, right? At the time of their ill time, they are going only for lagan, right? Otherwise, there was no any help in case of high varieties seeds for any uh, fund or anything else. There was no help from whether from British government or from zamindars, right? Zamindar is also known as beta permanent settlement
Permanent settlement.
Settlement.
system, है ना? Introduced by Lord
Cornwall.
Cornwallis, right? He had
what is the
introduced.
date?
Yes, beta. In
What is-
1793, beta. In 1793, Lord Cornwallis had introduced permanent settlement system, right?
Yes, sir.
So it was full story of agriculture during British rule. Now I am going to discuss about industrial sector. What, beta? Which sector?
Industrial sector.
Industrial sector. So we will discuss industrial sector. Listen, beta. Listen carefully. Industrial sector was on that time also not in a very good shape, right? We have to understand the main objective of British rule to make us only feeder of raw material for them. What, Bitaji? So if Indian industries will go up, so they will use raw material. And if we will use raw material, then tell me how they will send raw material to their native place in Europe or Britain. It is not possible, na beta? Is it possible or not? Hello.
Yes, sir.
It is not possible at all. So they did all the possible uh, actions to make industrial sector weak. What they did?
To make industrial sector weak.
Yes, they did. They did all to weak Indian industrial sector. So what they did, one by one, we will discuss, right? Firstly, what they did, as we are already knowing this, we was very strong before British rule. Our handicraft industry was very strong. We was a very prosperous economy. We was independent and self-reliant. So if your industries, whether it's handicraft or anything else, if your industries will go up, so there will be a very bad thing for Britishers that they will use raw material. So what they started to deindustrialization. What beta? What they did? De.
Industrialization.
Hmm.
Industrial.
So what they tried to do this and why?
So they should get the raw materials. If we install
Yes,
these, we
yes.
use it.
From which sector, beta? From handicraft industry, right? So
Yes,
what
sir.
they did, they forcefully they deindustrialized our handicraft industry, and from that they are getting two benefits. What are they? First, raw material. They will get raw material from here, and then they will take this raw material to Europe or in Britain, and after converting this raw material in finished goods, they can sell finished goods in India, right, beta? So they did deindustrialization for two reasons. First, to make a raw material available to them, and second, for selling their finished goods in India, right, beta?
एक
Second,
तो सर
huh?
अगर रॉ मटेरियल अगर सर लेके गए थे तो सर फिनिश गुड्स उधर क्यों नहीं सेल कर रहे सर?
Beta, they were selling all over the world, na, beta.
अच्छा,
So
और
India
नहीं
was
सर, एक
also
और
market
पॉइंट सर
for them.
पूछना था सर,
Hmm?
जो सर बिफोर ब्रिटिश रूल में आपने बताया सर इंडिया वाज सेल्फ रिलायंट सर,
Hmm.
तो सर रॉ मटेरियल में डिपेंड थोड़ी था वो सर किसी और पे.
India on that time, India was not dependent for raw material. We was very rich for on ground of raw material.
Yes sir.
So due to that, what Britishers did, they deindustrialized our all handicraft industry, and then the surplus raw material they exported from India to Britain, right?
To make
And
finished
after
goods.
conversion of that raw material into finished goods, they again
They
bringing
sold it.
all the finished goods in India, and then they are selling to us, right? If they will convert raw material into finished goods in India, and then they will sell in India, then there will be no benefit of British government, right?
Yes, sir.
Because people of India will get then employment here, right? But if they will export raw material to their country, and then they will convert the goods into finished goods in Britain, so people of Britain will get employment from them, right? Are you getting it?
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
So why they was sending raw material to Britain? Because industries was set up there. When they are converting raw material into finished goods, then they are giving employment to their people, right, Betaji?
Yes, sir.
If they convert this raw material into finished goods in India, then people of India will get an employment opportunity. So they was not doing this. They was sending this raw material to Britain. They was giving employment opportunity to their people in Britain, and then they are selling to us, right? It means they was not ready to give us employment opportunity or income opportunity, but yes, they was ready to take money from us, huh? By selling their goods at high rate. Okay, beta ji? What they did, do you all know? There was duty free for export of raw material. Means if during British rule, if we was sending goods in form of raw material to Britain, it was duty free. Okay, ji. If we was importing from Britain to India finished goods, it was also duty free. But if you was importing raw material to India, or you was exporting Indian handicraft industry to another country, then there was heavy tax on that. Means they was totally demoralizing to sell finished goods from India, right? So first is there was due to deindustrialization. They was trying to deindustrialize Indian handicraft industry, and they was exporting from India raw material at a very cheap rate, and they was selling their finished goods at a very high rate in India. First, second, there was decline in handicraft industry. What beta? There was,
Decline in handicraft industry.
yes, decline in handicraft industry. There was huge slope down of Indian handicraft industry. What happened next? What happened next? 1 minute, beta. What happened next? So, due to downfall of handicraft industry in India, what happened to us? How it's given impact to us? So there was huge fall of huge growth in unemployment. Second, we was totally bounded to imports finished goods from another countries, especially from Britain. Lack of capital goods industry. What better?
Lack of capital good industry.
Hmm. Okay. And low contribution to gross domestic, as industries was not running, there was decline of handicraft industries was totally deindustrialized. So due to this, there was low contribution in gross domestic product. So fourth point was totally lack of capital goods. We have written low
Yeah.
contribution, low contribution to handicraft industry, sorry, to GDP. And last, limited role of public sector. Then they haven't given impact or importance to public sector, right, beta?
Yes, sir.
Anji. So limited role of uh, public sector. So this was position of industrial sector in India, right? You all have to know during that time only, in 1907 in Jamshedpur, Bihar, Tata Iron and Steel Company, TISCO, was
TISCO
formed by,
Jamshedji Tata.
yes, right, beta ji? Okay. Now, first is agriculture, second is industry, third is foreign trade, beta. What?
Foreign trade.
Yes, one thing which we all have to understand and we have to rely on the matter fact. What is that, sir? If we'll talk about foreign trade, so foreign trade was good. Foreign trade was good. There was not any problem. Problem is that we was only exporter of primary goods or raw material. What was the problem, beta? Tell me.
We were only the exporters of the primary goods.
Primary goods, raw material. So if we will talk about third factor, there is foreign trade. At last, beta, we will revise also, right? So in foreign trade, we are discussing on during British rule only, right, beta ji? So in foreign trade only there is 3 points which we have to give importance. What are they? First, we was exporter of raw material or primary goods. What beta?
We were exporters of the raw material of primary goods.
primary goods means raw material. Primary products, primary goods means raw material. So we was exporter of primary goods and importer of finished goods, right, beta?
Finished goods. Yes.
This was the first thing, right? What was the second? Second was there was monopoly control of British rule. What beta?
Monopoly control of British rule.
Hmm. And third thing, that is drain of Indian wealth during British rule. What beta? Drain.
Drain of Indian wealth during British rule.
Hmm. Uh, Arvind,
Yes, sir.
how there was drain of Indian wealth during British rule? Can you justify this line?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir. During the British rule, India was an exporter of primary goods, sir, and there was an surplus exports, sir. But those surplus went to the British government for the war fought by them and the importer of invisible goods, sir.
Exactly, we was exporting, true. But what we was exporting? We was exporting raw material.
Yes, sir.
And that surplus export, yes, there was surplus export. One time, Dadabhai Nauroji had asked, "Ki sir, Indian economy is not at good shape." Britishers had said that, "You are wrong, Mr. Old man. You are totally wrong because our exports are at a very high rate." Dadabhai Nauroji had said, you are telling truth that our exports are surplus, but the export of what? Exports of raw material, and it's not good for us, right? And we was importing invisible items, and whatever exports was there, that was used only for World War II expenses of World War II. We was indulge in fight for British government, and we was meeting expenditure, right? So this was also a very bad thing for Indian economy. So this was the third thing, which is foreign trade, and it was also not good for Indian economy. Beta, one word is there, demographic condition. Do you all know?
Yes, sir.
For demographic condition, this point is totally from general knowledge point of view. First of all, I want to ask, what do you all understand by demographic condition?
So the
Yes, beta.
population, sir, literacy, so all that things. So the area.
Demography means your population. What beta?
Population.
Yes. So in any demography, there are three situations. Let me write first. First stage, second stage, and third stage. In first stage, high birth,
High death.
high death. In second stage, low death,
High birth.
In third stage,
High birth.
low death, low birth. Right, Betaji? So there are three phases. India is now end of second phase right now. On which phase?
Second phase.
Yes. Low death, high rate, high birth. Right, beta? And due to this, we are facing explosion of population. Due to better medical facility, due to better education, due to better people and capital human formation, death rate is low. But still people are having trust in producing more child, right? So we are facing a high population explosion, right? But in third stage, as people are getting that hum do and hamare ek, so birth rate will come down, right? If you will if you will say to your grandmother that I will have only one child, so they will oppose it, right? But if you will discuss with your friend, then they will support you. Yes, one child is enough, right, beta ji? Right, ji?
Yes.
So, beta ji, whenever we are talking or whenever we are thinking about demography, so demography means balance. So first in first stage, my dear friends, there was high birth and high death.
High death.
Yes. In second stage, there is low death and
High birth.
high birth. And in third stage, there
Low
is
death and
low
birth.
death and low birth. So in first stage, why high birth and high death? Because, my dear friends, listen, at first stage, there is low literacy, right? Economy is totally dependent on agriculture.
Agro-based economy.
Economy is agrarian. So one child means one person, one human person in home. So they was preferring high birth rate. And why high death rate? Because there was no medical facility, there was no much hospitals was available, road transport was also not good, and at very last note, people was not educated, and due to that we was facing a problem that is known as high birth and high death.
High death.
But if we will come to second stage, in second stage, due to high stage of medical equipment, or there is more number of hospitals, there was and due to literacy also, there is low death, but birth rate is still high. And in third situation, people are educated, they are not bothered about whether for their family plan, they are too bothered about their family planning. So there is low birth death rate and low birth rate. So where is India now? We are at second stage.
Second stage.
Now there are two dates which are very common for us and we must know. Please, beta, whoever is online on YouTube, please write your comment, and please tell me from where you all are attending class. Might possible out of you, many are my old students. So yes, listen, beta. So if we are talking about demography and all, so there are few things which are very important for us on general knowledge basis. First question, when first official census was conducted? It was 1881. When, beta? In 1881, first census was
conducted.
Yes, first census was conducted. Okay, it is first thing which you all have to understand, right? When first census was conducted, when first census was conducted
1881.
in 1881, first census was conducted. Second is 1921. What, beta?
1921.
1921. 1921 is known as Great Divide Year. What, beta?
Great Divide Year.
So what do you understand by Great Divide Year? Yes, beta. What do you mean? What you are understanding by Great Divide Year? Yes, beta. Great divide year. In during 1921, we was at first stage of demography. Where were beta?
First stage of demography.
Means there was high birth rate and high death rate. And during that time, British government had said this is great divide year. So this time called as Great Divide Year. What beta? That time is called as Great Divide Year. So these two dates are very important for us. First is 1881. 1881 means there was first census was conducted, and second is 1921, that is known as Great Divide Year. Why this was Great Divide Year? Because India was at its first stage. India was at its first
First
stage.
stage.
Yes.
Okay.
Any problem, beta?
No,
Any
sir.
problem? No. Now come to next point. So what is the exact condition of Indian demography during colonial rule? So first demographic condition was there was high death rate. What beta?
High
There
death
was
rate.
high death rate and high birth rate. Why you are not replying? High death
High death and high
and
birth.
birth rate. First,
No,
what do you mean by high death rate and high birth rate? High
sir.
death rate and high birth rate means where we was at first stage, second stage, or third stage. Ankush, first stage, second stage, or third
First stage,
stage?
sir.
First stage.
First stage. Okay. High birth rate and high death rate means we was at first stage. Okay, ji. Second, low level of literacy. We was not literate at all, right, beta? Yes.
Yes.
There was low rate of literacy. Okay. Third, poor health facility. What beta?
Poor health facility.
Poor health facility. Okay, ji. What next? High infant mortality rate. What do you mean by high infant mortality rate, beta? Yes, beta. What do you mean by high infant mortality?
Sir, children dying before celebrating their first birthday.
Yes, very good. Right way to state it. Before completing 1 year, right, beta? If children are getting died, that is called infant mortality rate. Okay, ji. Next is low life expectancy. What beta? If you will read Munshi Premchand stories, so in all stories, people are getting die before attending, means in their early age, before in 35 or 45 years around. Right, beta ji? So low life expectancy. Life expectancy was
Low.
very low. Right? Okay, ji. And very last, widespread of poverty. What, beta ji?
Widespread of poverty.
So these all was condition of demography. Now come to occupational structure. And at last we will revise. What, beta? We will revise this entire chapter. Okay? Hanji? Huh? And then we will discuss some important question relating to this chapter. So, okay, ji, let me cover it first. Then we will discuss. So, what do you mean by occupational structure? Occupational.
Sir, primary, tertiary, or
Sectors.
Yes. So if we will talk about occupational structure, during British rule, so as we already knowing that we have three sector: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector.
Tertiary sector.
Yes. So there was two situation of agriculture, means occupational structure. What was that? First, there was predominance of primary sector. What beta?
Predominance of primary sector.
Why? Give me
Sir,
reason.
Sir, India was agro sector, so that's why.
Hmm?
Agro-based economy. That's why.
Any other option, beta? Jayashri, why India was predominance of primary sector? Hmm?
Sir, because of the land also, like we had rich soil and
Hmm.
all.
Hmm. Because around 75% people was getting their occupational need from agriculture sector only. What was the
Yes,
percentage? What was the percentage? Around 75% of their occupational need they was getting from primary sector only. And due to that, there was a predominance of primary occupation. Second cause was little bit funny. What was that? As Britishers was only promoting to primary sector, right? Because they want only raw material, right? So people was also participating in production of primary goods only, right? To production of raw material only. So if we will talk about occupational structure, so majority of Indian population was only only in production of raw material. Why? Because government also want to promote that only. Second, there was regional variation, right? What better? If we will talk about in India right now also, there was huge regional variation. You can see agriculture. If we will talk about uh, means Punjab or Haryana, so agriculture is good over there. But if we'll talk about Bihar or any other state, so its position is very bad. So if we will talk about regional variation, so yes, there is regional variation. State like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, there was witness of decline in primary sector, right, beta? People was migrated from agriculture sector to service sector or industrial sector, right, beta? On other hand, like Odisha, Rajasthan, Punjab, here there is inverse situation. People are much interested in agriculture sector. Workforce is totally employed for agriculture. So, Betaji, there is regional variations also, right? And last is infrastructure. What, beta? Yes, Britishers had worked for infrastructure challenges in India, but not in that way as it was needed. Right, Ji? Hanji? Hmm? Hello? Why you all are
yes,
not
sir.
responding? Any
Yes.
problem?
No, sir.
Ankush,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
why,
sir.
what happened to you? If we'll talk about infrastructure, so how many things are there? First is roads, right, beta? Hmm? So during British rule, roads are only built to serve their army, right, beta? Or shifting of raw material. Roads are only they constructed for army, right, beta ji? Or for uh, mobilization of raw material only. So their intention was not to give growth of Indian economy, only to grow their own purposes, right? Second, railways. Yes, this credit will go to Britishers only, because this way of transportation was only due to British government, right? And railways suits to British government. Do you all know first railway from where to where and when?
Mumbai to Thane, 1851.
Yes, Mumbai to Thane, right? Ji, this distance was 34 kilometer, right? On 16th April, in month of Fools. So 16 April 1853. By the way, my birthday is also in month of Fools, 4th April. Okay, beta. So they also develop the railway corridors or railway infrastructure for their movement of army and raw materials only, right, beta ji? Air transport, for the air transport, they not taken or water, air and water, they not taken serious step to develop. In India, first air route was uh, developed in India by J.R.D. Tata in 1932. When, beta?
J.R.D. Tata in
J.R.D. Tata.
1932.
Yes, in aviation field only, right? Okay, ji. So this was the situation of infrastructure in India. So this is end of entire chapter. And after that, there is two things. First, what was the positive contribution of British government? And
Nothing.
second, what was the Indian economy on eve of independence? So what was the positive? We got a we got vision to agriculture of commercialized products, right, beta? Second, they had given a best mean for transportation. We can check on famine also. Shift to monetary economy, we shifted from home-based economy to monetary economy, and they have given a very strong setup of administration. So it is a reality. British government had given two things for us. First is effective administrative services. What, beta?
Effective administrative services.
First. And second, they had given best cash crops for various people, which made various changes in India, right? So these two things was good. Now we will talk about India on eve of independence, right, beta? This this is very important to discuss right now. India on eve of independence. So first, India was colonial economy. What, beta?
Colonial economy.
India was 100% colonial
Economy.
Yes. India was exploited, right, Nabita?
Yes.
For a long history, we was exploited. Britishers had drained our all wealth, right? They used Indian economy in very bad way to guard their interest only, right, Bitaji? It is an colonial economy. Second, they had uh, means we was quite nearby semi-feudal. What do you mean by semi-feudal? Anyone can
Semi-feudal.
What, beta?
Don't know, sir.
Yes. What do you mean by semi-feudal? Yes. Hello. Semi-feudal means first there will be some landlord and tenants relationship. What, beta?
Landlord and tenant relationship.
Landlord and tenant relation. And second is capitalist economy. And combination of these two are known as semi-feudal. Means in semi-feudal, there will be two class of people. One will be capitalist, right, beta? And second one is will be laborers. Right? So this is known as semi-feudal, right? So during British rule, Indian economy was nearby semi-feudal economy, right? And it's making landlord-tenant relationship, and it is also making capitalist economy. And this structure is making two different class of economy, or dividing economy in two class. One is capitalist and another will be laborer. Next, it will be stagnant economy. Beta, what? Totally
Stagnant
stagnant. It was
economy.
totally stagnant economy. Why? Why stagnant economy? Because development was
No
totally
development was.
no development at all. Output was 0.05%. I had told you all. Or GDP growth rate was low to yes, beta, low to 2%. Right? Next one is backward economy. Indian economy was totally backward. We was only feeder of raw material, right?
Yes, sir.
And during Second World War, all expenses related to war was only imposed on Indian wealth, or paid
Yes.
out of Indian wealth, right? And very last, second last bit, depreciated economy. What?
Depreciated economy.
And very last, imputed economy. What, beta? Imputed. Wait a minute. MPUTATED. What do you mean by imputed economy? The economy where divide and rule is employed, right? They was not interested at all to solve the problem. They was only having their idea that we will use economy for our wealth only, right? So it is known as imputed economy, right, Ji? So this is the end of this chapter. Okay, Ji beta. Please go through with all notes.
Yes,
Hanji,
sir.
I will meet. We will meet tomorrow again, and we will discuss related issue to this chapter, and we will start new chapter. Right? When we will meet, beta, there is holiday. So when
Sat
you all will take class? Hanji,
Sunday.
tomorrow. What time, beta?
Sir, 6 to 9.
Jayashree, when you can take class?
Sir, anytime is fine.
So we will meet tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Any problem? Class
No,
timing is 5. Yes, beta.
I don't have any issues.
Okay. Ankush, do you have any problem?
No, sir.
Okay, so 5 o'clock tomorrow, huh? Thank you very much. I'm going to end this session.
Thank you, sir.